What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another late night in the BrewLab with me, Lone Fox, your Brewmaster-in-Chief. And tonight, in the BrewLab, I'm coming at you with Maro's Street of New Capenna teaser. It's finally here. He does one of these every set, and I always like to put out a little video like this when he does. It's his way of sort of teasing us about what's coming. And, you know, spoiler season isn't too far away, and so, as usual, and in timely fashion, here's Maro's teaser. So, I'll skip this little introductory piece. First up, here are some things you can expect. 5 mana costs, using existing mana symbols that we've never used before. Cool. Wow, that's interesting. A spell that costs 13 black. Okay. And not even begin to guess what that is. A mechanic we've tried to get in numerous sets finally finds a home. New mechanics, always good. A creature type theme for a draft archetype that's never been used before. Creature type theme for a draft archetype. Okay, well, that's not really my bread and butter draft, but could still be pretty interesting. I usually try and draft 1 or 2 with a new set, just to get a feel for it. A red creature that can make token copies of creatures you control. Haha! That's interesting. That usually doesn't really happen in red. Something kind of maybe like a... it'll be interesting to see if those tokens stick around. Because then I can see that playing really well, of course, with a Seeker's Chariot. A card that adds white, blue, black, red, green. Is that the one that costs 13? That'll be interesting. So you just get all, 2 of each color. 5 color is slowly but surely like creeping in there. Slowly but surely. Imagine there's a competitive 5 color deck, before the World Tree goes out of standard, and there's plenty of stuff right now that kind of supports it, but it's always so hard to build because of the lands and things. So this card might finally make it viable, whatever it might be. Hopefully it's like an instant or something that taps for that every turn or something. That would be super busted. But anyway, on to the next one. A mechanic which first premiered in standard legal set in the early 2000s sees a return to standard. Okay, I cannot guess at that because I was not playing during that period. It was during my hiatus from the game, so I have no idea what that might be. But I cannot wait to find out. A card that makes cat and dog tokens. Okay. Probably, plenty of commander players that have those like janky cat and dog decks that are going to be pretty happy to hear about that. That might end up being, standard playable. A draft team caring about a threshold in the graveyard we haven't cared about before. Interesting. Multiple white cards capable of drawing a card each turn. Woohoo! Watch them like make all the white mages, myself included to a certain extent, very happy to read that, and then we'll get the cards and it's just like these terrible downsides. You get to draw 2 cards, but then you have to, like, I don't know, give the opponent a free thing or something. But that's still pretty interesting to see. It will finally be the time for white to get some half-decent card draw. We'll find out. Next up, he goes into some of the rules text that will be showing up on cards now. Like, I haven't got... This is the first time I'm reading this. First time. So you guys are getting my first reaction as well. So then, if you control 10 or more creatures, you may play the exiled card without paying its mana cost. 10 or more creatures is a lot to get to, but there might be some crazy token producers and things. Interesting. Very interesting. Copy target spell you control that wasn't cast. Okay, so I guess something that's on the board or something that's still in your hand. That's going to be interesting. I always like things that copy spells. As an additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice a creature, discard a card, or pay for life. Looks like something that'll end up in a probably Rakdos colors or black or something. But let's not forget, there's going to be a lot of 3-color cards in this set. Right after this little teaser, I'm going to jump into our first spoiler card for the day. Some of you might have missed it. It was released, I can't remember where, but there's a 3-mana Grixis card that looks fantastic. Next up, if exactly 3 colors of mana were spent to activate this ability. Okay, sweet. That makes perfect sense in this set. It's like these 3-color crime families. I'm so hyped for this set, to be honest. Create a 1/1 blue fish creature token. When you cast this spell, copy it. Okay, so that's a lot of copying going on already. White, blue, black, red, green. Tap, sacrifice, card name. Yeah, that's giving away very little. And then where X is the number of permanents you sacrifice this turn. That seems to sort of be doing something to do with... No, never mind. But I thought there was some synergy there. But I always try and find something out of these teasers. But he's very good at like giving nothing away whilst making us very excited for the set. Count the colors of the sacrificed creature. Okay. You may cast any number of copies without paying their mana costs. Wow. That's a nice line of text. And finally, here are some creature type lines in the set. We got Devil Warriors, Raccoon Rogues, Bird Assassins, Plant Dinosaurs. Okay, artifact creatures are sticking around, which is cool. Treasure Dog, Angel Warrior, nice. Nice. You know, someone asked during one of the first, initial Streets of New Capenna streams they did, whether it was just going to be demon crime families or if there's also the angels. And I believe the whole story of this plane is that the city, New Capenna, used to be ran and inhabited by angels, and then the demons have somehow kicked them out, and there's this fight between the angels and the demons, and they're trying to win back the city. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there's going to be some angels, of course, and of course plenty of demons. So legendary creature Sphinx Demon, legendary creature Cat Citizen, another citizen, legendary creature Cephalid Advisor. Sounds interesting. Ooh, okay, sweet that we're getting like still a little bit of, because vamps are going to be around until rotation, so I like it when they do these, like they're trying to span sets with a little bit of support for stuff that was maybe 3 or 4 sets back. So a little vampire demon noble, probably going to be one of the crime boss family leaders, especially because I see the legendary there. And that's it. So check out Streets of New Capenna debut on April 7th at 9 a.m. PT, Twitch and YouTube. Of course, we'll do a watch party on the channel, so stay tuned for that. But as promised, we're going to just quickly jump into, before we get into tonight's deck, because I'm not going to leave you hanging, the spoiler for today, Maestro's Charm. Looks like we're going to be getting a cycle of these 3-color instants. This is the Grixis one. Amazing. It's one of these, like, it's just so versatile. It's never dead. You choose one. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Put one of those cards into your hand, the rest into your graveyard. Obviously great, like, because Grixis and is, potentially with black, a color that reanimates things. So you might want those things in your graveyard for whatever reason. And drawing one is also great for 3 mana in a color combination that usually doesn't draw too many cards. And then each opponent loses 3 life, you gain 3 life, so it would gain and drain, or 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. I mean, this card is just freaking amazing, and it's uncommon. I think this is an amazing, amazing card. Of course, they're all going to, like, these 3-color decks are going to be everywhere, because we're going to get the full cycle of triomes, and so, it's going to be playing these color combinations a lot easier, and I just cannot wait. Honestly, I'm like frothing frothing for those triomes. But that's going to be it as far as like teasers and spoilers. And let's jump into tonight's deck. I did promise I would play Boros Control. And we're going to be taking this for a spin on the unranked ladder, because I've had one of those days. I just need a little bit of like relax, unwind, and it is a really fun deck to play. And it's a little bit of a masterpiece. I've been working on this one for a little while, and there's a lot going on. So let's jump right into it. I'll do the usual, sort of take it from the top, describe the deck from left to right, why it is that I picked the cards, how it is that they interact with the other cards in the deck, what are some of the play lines you might expect. Then we're going to jump into some gameplay footage, hopefully show off those play lines and interactions against some opponents, and then we'll jump back in at the end with my final thoughts on the deck and potential upgrades and edits. So we've got one of each of the March cards. The Otherworldly Light exiles artifacts, creatures, or enchantments, which is great. And of Reckless Joy exiles the top cards of your library, and you can cast those until the end of your next turn. Of course, both of these can have their cost reduced by exiling cards of their color from your hand. So fantastic. They're both instant speed, a little bit of card advantage, a little bit of exile, very versatile exile. So I've gone with one of each of those. Then we've got 2 copies of Fateful Absence, which is great. Can go creatures or planeswalkers. The fact that you give them a clue is a little bit of a downside, but can also sometimes be used. Let's say you're like, facing a farewell, or your opponent's vanishing versing your Smoldering Egg or something like that. You might prefer to Fateful Absence your own Smoldering Egg rather than it being exiled, and then you get the clue token, which is great. So just keep that in mind. Then we've got sneaky one of Valorous Stance, which is mostly in here just to keep in hand and save our important creatures from sweepers or other destroy effects. But it can also love the versatility on it. Destroy a target creature with toughness 4 or greater. Then main card of the deck, Smoldering Egg, 4 copies. We want to try and flip this thing, obviously, as quickly as possible. It's a great early game blocker with 4 toughness against aggro. And then whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you put a number of ember counters on it equal to the number of mana spent to cast that spell. And when you get to 7 of these ember counters, it flips into the Ashmouth Dragon, which is a great card. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you can do 2 damage to any target. So face, creatures, opponents, planeswalkers, you name it. And then you can still swing in for 4 after that. So, you can often maybe double cast in one turn to do 4 damage, get rid of 2 of his creatures or something, and still go face for 4. Mwah! Loving Ashmouth Dragon. The only real downside is it's easy to remove with Vanishing Verse and, Blood Chief's Thirst and that sort of stuff. But we've got some ways around that, also some ways of reanimating it, which we'll get to in a second. Then I've gone for 3 copies of Rip Apart. Coming back from yesterday's brew, we had 4 of in that one. I just think it's a fantastic card in the current meta. Kind of deals with everything that's a problem. And for 2 mana in a very versatile package, I kind of wish I could run 4, but 3 has been doing the trick. Then we've got, in the 3-drop slot, a lot of these spicy one-offs that I'm hoping to hit off of the Velomachus Lorehold. Because when it attacks, if you don't know yet, it looks at the top 7 cards of your library. You may cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value less than or equal to his power from among them without paying their mana value, and then, their mana cost, and then you put the rest at the bottom of the library in a random order. So, of course, if you hit a Kaya's Onslaught off of that, you can make your Velomachus into a 6/6 double strike. That's 12 damage, potentially game-ending stuff. You hit your Alchemist Gambit. All you need is that one more turn, one more attack step, and the opponent's going to die. You get an extra turn off the Gambit, and you swing in with Lorehold again. And then one sneaky copy of Angelfire Ignition, which can be cast twice thanks to Flashback. Of course, another great hit. You give your Velomachus all of these things, and the life link is really the main thing that I'm happy about in there, because sometimes we need a little bit of life gain in the deck. Then, coming back from yesterday's brew, but this time as a 3 of the Draconic Intervention. Of course, we've only got dragons. There's Smoldering Eggs, a dragon. Manaform Hellkite, sneaky one of which we'll get to, and Velomachus Lorehold are all dragons, so one-sided sweeper, fantastic. You need to exile something from your graveyard, an instant or sorcery from your graveyard, to determine how much damage this thing is doing. So we've got some pretty expensive instants and sorceries that could potentially make Draconic Intervention deal a lot of damage. Something like Invoke Justice, or, you know, a 5 drops, or even a 6 damage. And we've also got some mascot exhibitions here in the lesson board, which means you could potentially do up to 7 damage with Draconic Intervention. And those things are exiled, which is great. You know, exile effects really strong in the current meta. Something like, you know, those camis of Transience, and you name it, they just don't come back. So really, really good. Then, sneaky one of Manaform Hellkite. So many fantastic play lines with this guy. Something just as simple as casting Lorehold Command and picking option 1 and 2. You would then get a 5/5, because the casting cost of Lorehold Command is 5, so you get a 5/5 Dragon Illusion. Then you get a 3/2 and the Manaform Hellkite. So that's already 9, 10, 11, 12 damage, and then they all get +1, +0, and indestructible, and haste. So you get where I'm going. Like, that can be a game-ending play in and of itself. Of course, Invoke Calamity as well. You know, these would make 5/5 dragons, and you get to do some other stuff, or, you know, just reanimating your Velomachus Lorehold with Invoke Justice. You put the counters, you know, because it gives distribute 4 +1/+1 counters, so you could put like 2 on the Hellkite, 2 on the Velomachus. That's already like 6 + 7 damage, plus the 5/5 that you make from the Hellkite from the Invoke Justice. Also game-ending stuff. So fantastic stuff that can go down with the Hellkite. And I'm just going with the one of, because it's really more of a spells deck than a creature deck. I would say if we ever had to give this a sideboard, we just side out a lot of the spells and put in more dragons and go for a more aggressive plan. But that's a brew for another day. Which brings us to our 6-drop. I just went for a couple copies of Farewell, just as sort of a fail-safe. And, you know, if there's those situations where you're just about to get overwhelmed, and you can just pull the plug, exile everything, reset, and, you know, try take the game further from there. Because, you know, in a control deck, we are trying to get to like turn 7, turn 8, turn 9. The longer the games goes, generally the better for us. The only real bad matchup for Farewell is, you know, your Super Friends decks, because it doesn't hit Planeswalkers, but everything else is just fantastic. And that brings us to Velomachus Lorehold, which I'll touch upon again briefly, even though it was in yesterday's brew. Just a fantastic against the meta right now. Dodges the Wandering Empress -2 ability because it has Vigilance. Also dodges Vanishing Verse because it's multicolored. So a lot of the like cards that are being played a lot right now, Velomachus kind of dodges, and is just a fantastic card in and of itself. And that's about it. Brings us to the mana base, where we have some of the usual suspects, 1 of each of the creature lands, 2 of each of the legendaries, some basics, some duels, and 2 Fields of Ruins. Talking about the 1 3-drop that I missed while I was going through, Igneous Inspiration. Fantastic. Ability to go face with the thing, and then potentially do it again with an Invoke Calamity later in the game. So, you know, you do 3, maybe remove something, a creature, then you do another 3 to face, or maybe 2 as Planeswalker or whatever, because it's damage to any target. And then, later in the game, you cast Invoke Calamity, you get both of them back from the graveyard, goes 6 for face, you get to learn another 2 times. Talking about learn, it's giving us access to this fantastic little lesson board, where we have a sneaky copy of Academic Probation. I love to run this whenever I have, you know, white lessons. Choose a non-land card name. Opponent can't cast spells with the chosen name until their next turn. Fantastic. And you also can choose a non-land permanent, so that can mean Planeswalkers or enchantments as well, but also a creature. So if it's a creature, can't attack or block, and if it's you know, Planeswalker, its activated ability can't be activated, or if it's an enchantment as well. So fantastic little card, especially in the control deck. Then we've got Environmental Sciences, starts from scratch just for some extra artifact removal, some scry and draw, some extra exile effects, action, and then 2 copies of Mascot Exhibition as an alternate win con here in the lesson board. That's the deck. Boros Egg Control. Let's jump into some games. Boop. 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 I hate how it defaults to Alchemy. It's like they really are trying to push it. It's like in the default setting for the deck builder, the default setting for the play queue. It's like, don't you get it? The vast majority of the community doesn't like this format. You screwed up the release, and the freaking economy sucks. So maybe you should stop pushing it down our throats. Don't get me started on the economy and everything else that's been going on. I've just been avoiding it and trying not to say anything on the channel because it's just feeding into the negativity. Ooh. Is it going to be the new Boros? Okay, looks like mono red aggro. Skadoosh. Be like Thundering Rebuke. There's a lot of stuff that does 4 damage. You think I'm gonna block that? I think I'm stupid. You know what? Let's get Draconic on your ass. Bye bye. Please come again. Sorry, I'm not wearing a shirt tonight, guys, but this place we're staying at is way too hot. There's only a fan on the ceiling. No aircon this time. And I tried to record a first video with just my shirt on, and I was dripping sweat on camera. So close to flipping that egg. Say no to that. I was gonna maybe go for the Lorehold Command on the opponent's attack step, but this is also pretty freaking sweet. Badoosh. Nazca 599. On to the next one. Just what I needed, really. A little bit of unranked fun. Like today was my mythic rank is down to 90. I was testing Sultai, Shigeki, Golgari, Shigeki. Very, very fun, the channel thing, but I have, not played enough of it, and I was just learning, and I didn't want to test it too much in unranked because it's one of the decks I want to bring you over the next couple of days. It's really, really strong, but yeah, I tanked my rank like a real noob, but that's all right. We've still got a couple of days before the end of the month. I'm still gonna do my final mythic push with Naya aggro. I'll probably stream that on Twitch if you guys want to watch. I'll make a post about it on the channel's community tab. Simic. I don't want you ramping at all, Mr. Simic. Tapped. Comes to play tapped, so he's only got one green source. we're probably looking at fight spells with the Blizzard Brawl. Or a bouncy bouncy. You could double Blizzard Brawl. Okay, and now the Blizzard Brawl. Yay! Well, at least we're Velomachusing next turn. There's a bit of a consolation prize to that disgusting card. She's still got 2 mana open. 3. That's bad. That's very bad. Okay, 2 mana. I feel safe. Fading Hope is just gonna... I'll lose my mind. Okay. Phew. Ooh. Draconic seems just about as good as it gets, really. Toodle Pip. My dear fellow. Off you go. Coma? The Cosmos Serpent? No. Berg Strider. Cheeky. Can you imagine? They always seem to have the damn thing. Disgusting. Not the best use of my mana, but just kind of wanting to make sure he has nothing. I'm happy we've got this field. Usually these guys run like a Cave of the Frost Giant or whatever. I have a feeling there's the... Actually, no. Actually, yeah. Insta flip. That's not a bad turn. Although I have a feeling it's that giant guy that bounces everything to your hand. Okay. You have another Blizzard Brawl. Fine, fine, fine. That's also fine. Skadoosh. Simic. Simic? What do we think about Simic? Simic sucks. It's been a while. It's, I mean, thank goodness. People were complaining for too long about how overpowered it was, you know, when Uro was a thing. You remember that? But it's been a little while. Simic's kind of been taking a backseat, which is great. I think Izzet has been getting most of the limelight of late as far as 2-color combinations go. Alright, 30 minutes in, including our little bit of teaser action. We still got at least time for a couple more matches. Great hand. That's not bad. But these guys play Vanishing Verse, which is quite annoying. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna Fateful Absence my own guy.
I hope you're ready to lose. I guess that's it then.
Nice. Very nice.
I know something.
Okay, so it's Esper Planeswalkers. I thought it was just your run-of-the-mill Orzhov type of dudes. Oh, come on! I was just having fun there. I was looking like you might have pulled it back from the brink. Oh well. I'll take a free win. Always. We love free wins. How are we doing for time? Alright, probably arriving at the last match of the night. Let's try and end on a win. I think we've done a fairly good job of illustrating the incredible amount of versatility this deck has. I don't think it's very well placed in the meta right now, and somehow like the matchmaker just keeps pairing me against the worst sort of stuff with this deck. But when it goes off, so much fun, so much going on. I think we can maybe ramp into an early Velomachus with an unexpected windfall here, so I'm going to just give it a try. Oh. Mono white. We need that Draconic Intervention quickly. White weenies. Disgusting. Disgusting. What a rat. Such a stupid deck as well. If you don't get that sweep, I mean, there's nothing you can do. Nothing against you, white weenie players. Go for it. It's actually probably a very easy strategy to beat. You just get the nut draw like that. There's very little you can do, which is great. We get time for another match. Straight into the next one. Snoggy Psy? Snoggy Psy. Hello. Oh, yay. We need to get something in the graveyard so that we can Draconic. Before they have that Runeforge in play. Okay, no Runeforge yet. Maybe it's just Selesnya, not Naya. It's acceptable. Not looking good. Got a 4-drop, but we can't. We've got nothing in the graveyard to. Oh no. Okay, so this really just looks like standard Selesnya build. This is looking bad. Very bad. But we might still be able to do this. Maybe. Maybe, baby. Sure. Permanent. I was hoping you wouldn't put those counters there. Get one more land next turn would be freaking fantastic. They'll probably scoop to the farewell if we're allowed to get there. I think as long as we can just block the 5/5. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's going to be game over. So unlucky, man. Freaking hell. That was terrible. Just terrible. Well, we're at the 40-minute mark. I think we got time for one more. I don't want to lose. I don't want to end on a loss. It's one of my, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, people that don't like to walk under ladders and in front of black cats and things like that. It's when you are, it's just, no. Oh. You know the word I mean. Okay. Okay. Looks pretty good. No deadly dispute. Surprising. Yeah. Soul Ripper. Can't have that. Would much rather have a second red source, please, deck. I don't know why I let that through. But, let's just go fetch the red source. Hold up Fateful Absence. Pass the turn. Aha! Okay. It is the... There'll be an anvil and all that sort of stuff. Which is fine. A little bit less removal, a little bit more artifact synergies. I'm okay with that. They usually just run like Meathook Massacre, and then there's that thing that does 4 damage, but you need to sacrifice, what's it called, Voltage Surge. You need to sacrifice an artifact. He needs a red source to do that, though. Probably want to keep that stuff for when you play the smelter. I'm presuming. Sorry, the anvil. Okay. One more land means Velomachus next turn. Otherwise, we can just do some other type of shenaniganzos. 4, 5, 6 maybe, yeah. Can do an Invoke Calamity. 1, 2, 3, 4 red sources. Yeah. You could have that Voltage Surge now, though. Yeah. Told ya. Oh, what? He forgot to sacrifice. Oops. Sorry. Yeah, you might as well swing. You can't block my dragon with your Ghast. Alright, so let's do that. Two-face, and then we get another 2 more triggers. I'm gonna go Windfall. And Rip Apart. I would have gotten another double triggers from the because there's still spells being cast, so would have got another 4 damage plus another 4 would have been another 8 damage plus card draw plus getting rid of 1 threat. Fantastic. So ending on a win. Got my final win as I wanted, and we're exactly at the 45-minute mark. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all tomorrow for some fresh brews. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until then, this is Lone Fox from the BrewLab, signing out.